Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to show you my low-life Righteous Fire Guardian that turned out to be a low-life Scorching Ray Guardian, like Scorching Ray and Righteous Fire Guardian, right? It's kind of an aura bot with like a bazillion auras here. It's mana stacking for energy shield, so it's also like some kind of mana guardian, so it's like a little bit of everything. But yeah, since we're trying out, or at least I'm trying out a lot of different builds at the moment, especially to see how changes on certain skills affect the actual gameplay. And the last couple Righteous Fire characters that I built were all like life-based, so the last Guardian, the Energy Shield Guardian that I played with Righteous Fire was, I think, back in 3.1, I think there was like Abyss League or something, so it's ages ago that I'm playing Guardian. Like, main reason for that is I don't like the Templar, because it's like old, grumpy, like me, just a little bit taller, okay? So, I usually let my stream decide what we are going to play next, so I said, like, I want to play either Righteous Fire, or we're gonna play a CI, or at least like a low-life, an Occultist CI, Vortex, Cold Snap, Cold Dot, basically, so either Cold Dot or Fire Dot. Ah, god damn it, get it straight. And people said I should get my hands on a Righteous Fire character. Although Righteous Fire got changed or nerfed or buffed, this is something I wanted to try out. People said don't play Righteous Fire, it's a waste of time, it does way less damage than before. Other people said it's fine, it's still good, blah blah blah, so yeah. If we take a look at Righteous Fire, what did change here? So Righteous Fire has been the same for an eternity since I know this game, okay? But they have made a big change here in 3.8. Which is now deals base damage, okay, and the damage you're doing is from 40%, that's used to be like 40% of a life or energy shield as damage, is now 20%, but the added base damage. So the question is, since we're having now in this league, we're having now the fire damage over time multiplier, okay? This is a new stat that they released, I think, in this league. Now we have poison damage over time multiplier, physical damage over time multiplier, fire damage over time multiplier, and fire damage over time multiplier counts for Righteous Fire. So the question is, 40% Righteous Fire of your life ES straight, or 20% with the base damage, with the multiplier, what is better? And this is what I tried out with this character. And yeah, I think first things first, let's run a map, and then I'm gonna talk about the progress in this build, because I played like, I don't know, like 10 different versions of this build. Well, no, region is probably not that great. Max resistance, not that great. Oh, come on. So, actually, do we have Nico? Yeah, we do have a Nico, so I need that one for delving as anyways, so let's just choose it up a little bit here. We're gonna run a map, and you can see how the build currently looks like. And if you're interested in the build, then I'm... Like, usually it's just like a build guide, right? You just run a map, you show some Uber Elder footage, and I will show some Uber Elder footage after the guide, basically, at the end of this video. And then you're just explain everything, right? But in this build, I want to go through the progression, what were my thinkings, my gear choices, and so on. Look at this hilarious big Righteous Fire here. It's insane, dude. No, it's not insane. So you have to take into account... Oh god, what is this loot filter? What is this loot filter? Uber streak. There you go. That's better. So you have to take into account that my Scorching Ray is doing more damage than my Righteous Fire, okay? So you're actually used to play Righteous Fire, and then just with the changed Scorching Ray, you're just debuffing the enemy, and after it hits 8 stacks, they get a fire exposure, and then they get like 25% as fire resistance, right? To supplement your Righteous Fire damage. This character has the other way around. So the Righteous Fire is basically just to supplement my Scorching Ray. Because Righteous Fire is still in the end, it's a buff for spell damage. It's just not affected by spell damage itself. But Scorching Ray is. So the difference here is just that you're actually taking use out of the low life with the pain attunement, so you're getting this more spell damage, also the spell damage that you're getting from the Righteous Fire, to boost your Scorching Ray damage. So, why did I do Scorching Ray over the Righteous Fire? Because the new Righteous Fire does way less damage than it used to be, or at least that it used to has in older stages. I don't know if they just want to get rid of every single like Righteous Fire character and just want to make it as a supplemental damage for spellcasters. Might be, might not be. But I just think it's like sad that they yeah, nerf another skill that was actually fine for so many leagues, and it was Righteous Fire was meta basically. Well, it was never really meta, but it was still always fun to play in every single league. Until I think it fell off a little bit in Delph League. So in Delph League, everybody was like, oh wait a second, you have degen when you move in the dark ground, or at least in the darkness. Well, actually when you play Righteous Fire, you have like insane life regen, and you just regen through that. And yeah, a lot of people tried Righteous Fire in Delph League, me included. And we just had to say, okay, after Delph 500 or something, you're just gonna get one-shotted no matter if you have 10,000 life or not, okay? And yeah, in Betrayal League with all the syndicates and stuff, it wasn't like the shiniest time for Righteous Fire either. So it was never really dead, but it never really was the meta skill to go to. It was probably in 3.0, 3.1 some at this point. Harbinger League was quite enjoyable with Righteous Fire as well. But yeah, here we are in 3.8 after the changes, and as I said, I did some experiments. Actually, I did a lot of experiments with this character to check if it's still, or how can we make it possible, and this is what I want to talk about in this video. What changes did I do? What gear choices? Why did I switch then to Scorching Ray, and so on. So let's take a look at the Minotaur. Let's let him charge here. And you can pretty much usually face tank this encounter, right? Because we're having a lot of how's it called? Armor. We have a lot of physical damage mitigation, and then you just channel it down, and there you go. Like, nothing too hard. I mean, this is what Righteous Fire Guardians are known for. Insane tankiness. And yeah, you might say like, hey, wait a second. You're playing an Energy Shield Guardian. The last time I played an Energy Shield Guardian Righteous Fire that had like 15,000 life Energy Shield. That's true. But this character is level 68, and as I will go over through the gearing process and the choices that I made, you're gonna find out that it's like half of everything. But still, I think this is the way to go to build it properly as an Energy Shield character, and with the right investment, and this is one major important thing here, you should be able to get to this point. So let's start from the beginning, Righteous Fire leveling. So if you want to level a Righteous Fire character, the only thing you need is level 24, the Vitality Gem, and the Watcher's Eye. Let me quickly pull this one up, because this is a question that I get all the time. How do you level with Righteous Fire? So I have this one. Increased flat, where is it? There it is. Flat regen by Vitality. So you want to get this as high as possible. They usually, like, not get the max roll, so you're not going to pay 3 exalts, so scroll out a little bit. But usually here 60 chaos for 137, it's like 2.4 off perfect, okay? Now, one of these I used for leveling, and this 140 life per second is permanent. I mean, if you're level 24, you have like, what, 600 life, 700 life, so it's more like a permanent life flask on. And with Kikasaru rings that give you life per second, it's easy to sustain Righteous Fire at this point, okay? It just falls off at later stages when your HP pool is getting bigger and bigger. But on lower life stages, it's super easy to just stack the flat life regen, and you're good. So, when I was level, like, onto mapping, basically, I was just running my Righteous Fire setup in my shafts, okay? So I was using, like, Righteous Fire, then Ally Focus, Efficiency, and Power, with the burning and increased area of effect. But the Righteous Fire damage, you have to think like that. Let's say you have a low life pool. Let's say we are life, or let's say we are Energy Shield, doesn't matter. Let's say you have 5,000 Energy Shield. You will probably do, percentage-wise, more damage than in later stages. So the more you invest into your character, the more you're really pushing your Energy Shield, the more you're gonna see the nerf, because it's not 40% of your Energy Shield anymore, it's now 20%. Yes, we do have the base damage, but what does the base damage really do for us, okay? I want to go over to Path of Building. Here I set up my character. This is the current character where I have like probably like 850,000 Shaper DPS on Scorching Ray. And currently, where is it? 500,000 Righteous Fire at the moment, okay? So all in all, it's still 1 point something million, and you saw Minotaur was dying. It's not like it was like refilling his HP because I was not doing damage at all. So there's one thing I want to really take into account here, and this is the two different Righteous Fire setups that I set up here. So let's disable my current one that I have in my helm. So this is the 6-link Righteous Fire that we have in our chest here, right? With the Empower level 4. And we're doing 599,000 damage with this setup here. With my gear, blah, blah, blah. So the thing is... Oh, wait a second. Enable. That's better. Righteous Fire. Oh, this one, yeah. It was the straight one. So 599,000 with an Empower level 4. And Empower level 4 at the moment I think goes for like 5.5 exalts, I think. It's pretty expensive, to be honest. So Empower support, gem level 4, going for 4 exalts. Okay, well, these two are price flipping 3.9 and 4 exalts, and then they started 5.2, so this is just like probably exactly that type of people that you want to hit in the face because they're just trolling you and putting in a level 3 or level 2 Empower when you get into 4 exalts. Anyway, so we're talking about 5 exalts for this Empower level 4. Comparable to that one, we have a 6-link with a dead slot. With a dead slot means Arcane Surge. Arcane Surge does no damage to, or brings no damage through my Righteous Fire. First, we cannot activate it. Second, it gives me more spell damage and cast speed. So, spell damage on Righteous Fire does not work, because it's kind of hard to scale Righteous Fire. So, spell damage does not work. You're not hitting the target with it. It's just like a burning ground here, right? So, no crit, no multi. Like all this kind of stuff here that usually works for caster builds. Oh, spell damage affected does not work. Pain Attunement here, the 30% more spell damage, does not work either for Righteous Fire. The next thing is, Righteous Fire is not an ailment, okay? Ignite is an ailment in terms of fire, okay? Poison is an ailment, and Bleed is an ailment. These are ailments. So things like Deadly Ailment support, where you get an insane more damage over time for ailments, does not work either, because Righteous Fire is not an ailment. So you're very, very, very limited on what you can use or not. The only thing that actually counts is just elemental damage, percentage-wise, like Elemental Focus, which gives me a huge amount of elemental damage. Then generic damage, like increased damage, then fire damage, burning damage, and if you want to and skill into Spiritual Aid, then it's minion damage on top of that. But it's just generic damage that scales Righteous Fire, and not spell damage, not crit, not ailment-wise things on the tree here, right? So it's not too easy. And that's why we are limited on our support gems as well. So if you're adding the Arcane Surge, which is a dead link here, right? The only thing that Arcane Surge does is giving Righteous Fire the duration tag, and once it has duration, we can apply Swift Affliction, because Swift Affliction deals more damage over time, but is only affected by skills with duration, okay? So if you see, like here is no Arcane Surge, there is no Swift Affliction here, because it doesn't work. But if you're adding the Arcane Surge, you can add the Swift Affliction. So basically this is a 5-link Righteous Fire, and if we're taking a look on how does it look like damage-wise, we have 587 compared to the 599. Although this one, with the Empower level 4, which gives 3 levels to my Righteous Fire, there you see that the difference here is not a lot. This is an actual 6-link, this is a 5-link, and the damage difference is basically what? Like 12,000 damage. 12,000 damage, you have more if you invest 5 or 6 exalts into an Empower level 4. So, how does this look like if we're getting levels of gems here, right? So Righteous Fire, because I know there is people saying like, yeah, but now they have global fire skills and a +1 shafts, and I don't know what you can want to do. But to be honest, if I'm adding 1 level, I'm getting like 30-40,000 here, fully buffed here, right? So that means that the base level is not really affecting it so much that you can say like, wait a second, this is actually better than before, okay? So as I said, this is actually with flasks on, so if we're just unchecking everything and we're losing damage, you're gonna see that the the Righteous Fire, the base levels, is not that great. At least it's definitely not that as good as the 20% that we're missing coming from our energy shield pool. So, okay, the next thing is, since I cannot run a 5-link setup, or at least a 6-link setup properly, and I'm doing way too low damage, and by the way, this is with conk effect, right? So, if you want to have a very well-clearing or well-rounded character in terms of mapping, you want to run increased area of effect. And there my damage drops by like more than 200,000 just from this gem, just the conk effect. So, this was my leveling setup here, right? With increased area of effect to have a nice circle here. And this circle is just like pretty much a joke. I mean, I did not scale into area of effect nodes. That means it's not really getting any bigger here. But as I said, on this current stage is more like a supplemental to my Scorching Ray. So, since we're having Elder helmets, they can be supported by Burning and Conk effect, and if you throw an Essence of Horror on it, you can get the elemental damage on top of that, which is kinda a 7-link here, right? And this is the kind of Righteous Fire setup that you're using on a life-based character running a Chaos Heart. So, the difference here is, usually Scorching Ray, as I was explaining before, was actually to apply the elemental exposure, which gives the enemy minus 25 fire resistance. Therefore, your Righteous Fire ticks harder, okay? So the thing is that on a low life Righteous Fire Guardian, you have another 6-link open, which you don't have as a life character. And since I moved my Scorching Ray to the Helm slot now, since we are limited on the support gems anyways, I decided to take a 6-linked Scorching Ray setup. So when we take a look at the Scorching Ray setup here, I'm currently, let's disable this one again and enable that one. This is my current Righteous Fire here. Where is it? So, Scorching Ray deals at the moment, I think, almost like, yeah, 700,000 here on 8 stages. Plus the Righteous Fire that I'm doing, right? So, 700 is like almost 800 plus the 500,000, basically. So, we're somewhere 1.2, 1.3 million shape per DPS at the moment, which is kind of fair, but with this small circle you really have to get into the face of the enemy to do something, which is not bad, or at least you want to do this as Righteous Fire anyways. So, the Scorching Ray is basically, this is now an actual spell. So this can be supported by Infused Channeling, by Ally Focus, then Efficiency, Control Destruction. This is something that gives you spell damage that is not available for the Righteous Fire, and then burning damage on top of that. So, and then this is the reason why I decided to switch to Scorching Ray, because my Righteous Fire was doing just absolutely no DPS. Not even with an Empower level 4 I could get any kind of good DPS at all. And then in the end I played it with the Arcane Surge and Swift Affliction just because it was the cheaper version. And then I was like, screw that, probably we're just gonna use it as a supplemental damage. The next thing that I want to talk about is Exploding Weapons, because this is something I wanted to do anyways in the start, right? Because Exploding Weapons, we know this from Synthesis, they're pretty cool in terms of clearing. I bought one here just for testing. This one has the tag, enemies killed explode, dealing 5% of their life as fire damage, okay? So, what is the problem with this weapon? It doesn't work with Righteous Fire anymore. So if we're just going to the Act 9 here, the Blood Aqueduct, so you're gonna see what I'm talking about. It only affects the hit now, okay? And there is some research I've done yesterday on why is this working like that, because it was never like that, okay? So usually if you had an Explode weapon, it says enemies killed. It doesn't say enemies killed with a hit or by you, or it's just enemies killed explode. You know, this is a fact here, right? But nothing happens here. This is kind of sad. So comparable to the Stonebrand now, you're gonna see that there is small pops appearing. You heard that? There is like pops appearing, right? And then I was like, wait a second. This worked last league. Why does it not work this league anymore? So if we're gonna take a look at my standard character, which was my... Wait, where did I try it? I think on the Gladiator, just for trying it out because it was so weird that it did not work. So here we have basically the same, right? This is a life-based Righteous Fire character. But here we have the synthesized killed enemies explode, dealing 3% of the life as physical damage, okay? This is pretty much the same tag as the other weapon has. This is just an implicit here, and the other one has it as an actual stat. So, and you're gonna see those explosions that I'm talking about. See those white explosions? Even with Herald of Ash on, but... So, now you see those weird white explosions that are popping, right? So, this is the weapon effect here. Killed enemies explode, dealing damage, okay? And this essentially helps your Righteous Fire clear speed. So, what is the difference then? This one, to write it down, they both have the same tag here, right? But this one says killed enemies explode, right? And the other one says enemies killed explode. There is just these two words swapped around, and you're gonna see that in the in my actual Blight character on the Guardian here. I don't know if this is intentional or if it should work like that, or they are just like, yeah, let's keep the old version like this and let's just swap these names around and then we have a new effect, because this one has now, as I said, enemies killed. The other one had killed enemies. So, it seems like this mod is global for anything you do as soon as something dies, and this one is not, which is kind of bad because it still says enemies killed explode. And when you kill something, it should happen, you know? It doesn't say with hits or with this weapon or something like that. So I don't know if this is just a wording problem, or if GGG made a fail here and this is just a bug that it actually should fix, or did they just assign the wrong thing here? I don't know, it's just not working, and this is kind of sad because this was one of the things that I wanted to use to make my Righteous Fire even more or even faster here. Alright, let's talk about the gear now finally, and the skill tree and the choices that I made here. So for the helm, as I said, we have Burning and Conk effect for our 6-link or Pseudo 6-link Righteous Fire, coming with Righteous Fire, Elemental Focus, Efficiency, and the Empower support, currently level 3 because lack of currency. Then we have this weapon. So I used to play with this weapon here, the Dune QBRE or something. It's actually, it was a strength stacking, because if you take a look at the Ascendancy of the Guardian, you're gonna get a armor percentage-wise of your reserved life and energy shield percentage-wise of your reserved mana. Then you get here, for every single aura that you have, you get fizz reduction and regen, then block and whatever, and time of need, just to fill up your life pool every 5 seconds. But the thing is, you can stack these when you're going like Determination with the Memory Vault. This was the helm that I was using before. So if we're gonna quick check a look here, the Memory Vault, which gives a huge amount of maximum mana, means more mana reserved, means more energy shield, and also max ES, and also the problem is here, or at least a good thing, gain armor equal to your reserved mana. So, they are just like flipping around here, right? But this is a problem here. 10% increased mana reserved. So, since we now have access to Malevolence since 2 leaks or something, this was not back in 3.1, I wanted to have this one in here, right? So I was having a problem here with reserving my stuff here, because I want to run triple purity for the max resistance, and also like discipline as an obvious thing for an energy shield based character. And since I swapped my Righteous Fire to my helm slot, it was just a better way to go with this helm. And also what I wanted to have is the enchant, like any of my mana reserved things reduced by 20%. What that means is I don't need an Enlighten level 4. And with the other helm, with a 10% increased mana, there is no way I can sustain all of that stuff on my mana and on my life. The life thing is not a problem, but the mana thing is a problem. So, as I said on the weapon again, this is the weapon that I used before. It gives you damage per strength when it's your main hand. It's basically a strength stacking, because the more strength you have, the more energy shield you get out of your gloves as well, right? So it's just like permanently being built in the build itself, which is a pretty fair weapon, but this one with a new fire damage over time multiplier is just way better. The difference between those weapons is basically, if we're just swapping this one in the Bath of Building, you're gonna see the damage difference, or I think I have it actually. No, I don't have. So we're gonna add this weapon now, and you're gonna see my damage falls off by more than 100,000 here, and then Scorching rate should be actually even more. I'm gonna take a look. Stonebrand, where is it? Scorching ray here. We go from 540 to 780. So this weapon alone gives me more than 200, 300,000 depending on your links and setups and so on. Gives me a shitload of more damage here. What we have is just a Scepter item level. I think it has to be 83 or something, or 81 or something. You can check this on PoE Ninja or PoE Affix will tell you. and then you just alt spam it for the tier 1 fire damage over time multiplier, and then just multi-mod it for increased damage, fire damage, or whatever damage. This is not my weapon. Gandi landed me this one because this one has increased damage per endurance charge. I'm not generating endurance charges, so this is a dead stat for me. But the increased damage over time, fire damage, and fire damage over time multiplier are the things that I wanted to have on the weapon anyways. And you see it's a big difference to this one here. So with this Stormbrand curse on hit flammability, the reason why we use Stormbrand is, well, you can use Orb of Storms as well, but you want to have something that deals lightning damage to proc the elemental equilibrium. So you have to think of, you use this one, it just deals lightning damage, so the enemy gets hit by lightning damage. That procs our elemental equilibrium. So the enemy has 25% increased lightning resistance, but loses 50 of the other elements, which is cold and fire. So since our Righteous Fire never hits, we cannot proc the elemental equilibrium with the Righteous Fire and not with a Scorching Ray, because both are just a burning ground, they don't hit. Okay, so you cannot apply a curse on hit effect as well. But therefore, Stormbrand does hit, and Stormbrand can use the flammability, for example. So we have minus 50 fire resistance on the enemy when using the Stormbrand. Then we have minus 43 fire resistance because of the flammability. And then on the Scorching Ray, we have another minus 25 fire resistance to the enemy once it hits 8 stages. So, which means that it's getting a lot of minus fire resistance, so our Scorching Ray and our Righteous Fire will do even more damage here, right? Check. So, the Prison Guardian, a pretty decent shield, pretty cheap actually. I think it's a couple chaos. It's 4 chaos at the moment, so really cheap. It's a shield that gives you a level of socketed aura gems, and the most important thing, socketed gems have blood magic. So, especially on this type here, the blood magic has no mana multiplier, and this is insane. So if we compare this one, let's say, let's put away the clarity here and put the malevolence in here. So we're gonna see malevolence will reserve 78% of our mana because of the multiplier from the blood magic. So if we're gonna switch back the malevolence over here, it soaks up 27%. So it's more than 50%, or at least like a total amount of 50% less reserved mana. And this is the reason why I can run a 50%, another 50%, and a 35%. So 135% is just from the shield reserved on live, which is kind of insane to stack up even more auras. And as I said before, we're Guardian. That means the more auras we have, the more regen we have, the more... what was the other one? Where is my ascendancy? Here it is. So, here we have auras from physical damage reduction. That was what I was looking for. So as I said, you want to have as many auras as possible. And here we have Determination, Vitality, Malevolence, and then I still have Blood Magic with Clarity to reserve even more, or at least... it's not like that I need Clarity for sustaining my mana or something, and I also usually use Precision. I just use Shield Charge for now, just to be safer on Uber Elder. So normally I have here, instead of the Shield Charge, I have a Precision in here as well to just... and get another aura on top of that. So the more auras, the better. Alright, so Prison Guardian. Then we have a Shafts, as I said, Scorching Ray, Infused Channeling, Ally, Focus, Efficiency, Control Destruction, and Burning Damage. The good thing about Scorching Ray with the Infused Channeling, you get reduced damage. Well, it's actually from hits. It's just like, you just get more tanky when you're just channeling and you're gonna stack up the Infusion. So you get just less damage. Then for the rings, I have a double Moonstone ring with the regen stat that I used on my Occultist as well. So this is just a temple mod that gives you tier 1 energy shield plus regen percentage of your life per second. I used this one twice, just with some mana, with some resistance, something like that, okay? So you would probably say, like, wait a second, you're stacking mana to get more energy shield, why you not use the new Cerulean ring, or what's it called? Reason for that is there is no Cerulean ring with a temple mod currently on the market. I don't even know if they actually exist. So if you're gonna take a look here, what was the mod called? Off energy shield. Wait a sec, god damn it. Off energy shield per second. Off energy shield per second. Oh, there is the regen mod here. This is, as I said, a hybrid mod. Means that it comes with the flat energy shield, which is pretty good. So this is it. This is just the mod here, right? And if we search now for the cerulean ring, there is actually one on the market now. So I should actually, how good is that? Well, actually kind of shit. But this one would actually be better, but yesterday there was none on the market. At the moment there's only one single one on the market, so that's the reason why I went with the Moonstone rings. But as I said, this mod is something I want to have. ES is good, mana is good, regen is good, like everything I want to have here, plus the resist. For the gloves, it's Shaper's Touch, and I looked for Socketed Aura Gems to get my Purities to level 23. So the reason for that one is at 23, the Purities are getting 1 max fire resist. So if you take a look at Purity of Fire, you're gonna see that the higher the level, it's not only giving me more resistance, it also gives me max resistance. And max resistance lowers the damage that I get from degen from the Righteous Fire itself. So at level 23, I'm getting 5% instead of 4%. That's why I focused on buying level 21 gems and get this one with the Shaper's Touch with the Socketed Aura Gems. Can be AoE gems as well, because the Purities count as spell AoE, Cold Aura, this one Fire and Aura. So I can use both here. And then, yeah, you get the 5% max resistance of all. And since we're also stacking the increased effect of non-curse auras from your skill, this one gets even higher. So it's not really 5%, it's even more than that, because the 5% then gets applied the percentage of the effect and so on. So it's pretty nice to have. And here we have, as I said, Purity of Ice, Fire, Lightning, plus Enlighten level 3 at the moment, which is fair enough to cap my resistance, because all of those give me more than, I don't know, like, it says here 44, but I think it's actually a little bit more here, because of the effect and so on. So just because of the 3 Purities, I'm getting like probably 50-60% all resistance. On the shield, I have 12 plus 25, 37% all resistance. So it's not really hard to cap the resistance on this character, besides using quite a nice amount of unique on top of that. Okay, what does max fire resistance do? As again, if you're having a Righteous Fire on, you're degenerating percentage-wise of your energy shield. I think it's 70% of your energy shield you're burning. And you can mitigate this damage with fire resistance. So 75 is normal, but if you have 75, you're just gonna burn to death, basically. Or at least, like, burn down to 1 life, and then the Righteous Fire is gone. So what you want to do is stack fire resistance. There is another easy way to do that, and this is something you can do, is the Rise of the Phoenix shield. The Rise of the Phoenix is actually super nice to have on low life builds, because you cannot be ignited, you have more movement speed, you get additional fire resistance. So it's like with a nice roll, you have like 50 fire resistance on that shield and 5 maximum fire resist. So if I would have the shield, I could basically get up to 90%, which mitigates my damage even more. But on top, like in the end, I have 85%. I can regen, or at least I'm not degenning, and I'm not even running a recovery Watcher's Eye yet. So the discipline, energy shield recovery rate, and so on, I don't have that, and I still can maintain my Righteous Fire. And the next skill points would go into Growth and Decay, which gives me another 1.6% regen. So you don't even need an recovery Watcher's Eye on this state here. Alright, so next one. Boots, as I said, shield charge for Uber Elder, then discipline, and then blood magic and clarity. And usually I would replace shield charge. Shield charge is shit anyways. I just need it for Uber Elder, and get precision in here with the blood magic, because we do have some life left. Because this one is level 14 now, so if this one is level 1 and precision level 1, you can easily also reserve this one on life, and we're getting more and more auras, so we get more and more regen as well. For the belt, the most important thing here is the energy shield recovery rate with some energy shield on top of that. As I said, we have an easy life here getting my resistance because of the purities. So the energy shield recovery rate will decide how fast you can regen per second. Okay, so which this would actually be. Let's say you regen 100 energy shield per second, and if you have 20% increased energy shield recovery rate, you would actually regen the 100 in like 0.8, for example. So you're just regenning even faster. And this is actually a quite insane stat on that one. I also use that on the life-based character, which with the life recovery rate. So this actually gives you another layer of defense just because you're just regenning even faster. On top of that, Presence of Chayuler, which is pretty nice. And it always goes hand in hand with the shafts, just because that you're stun immune and you also convert maximum life to energy shield. I allocated Soul of Steel, which is this nice passive over here. It's triple gold, it's kind of expensive, but it gives me physical damage reduction, armor, and 1 to max all resistance. So you have 3 clusters with all resistance, or at least max resistance. Barbarism gives you the 1 max fire resistance. Then we have the Untitled Chapter, which gives you 1 max lightning resistance. And on the right side, we have the Survivalist, which gives you 1 max cold resistance. So since I don't have access to that one, that's why I'm having 1 less cold resistance over here. But the Soul of Steel is the most expensive one to anoint here. We're talking about 3 golds. It's about 3.6, 3.8 exalts here for the anointment. But it just gives you everything you want. And the more max resistance you have, the more damage you can take in terms of elemental damage. And especially for Righteous Fire, you want to have as much as possible fire resistance. Okay, quick look at the gear. What are my choices here? I'm running triple Grand Spectrum. So, as I said before, this is quite a heavy investment. The maximum mana is extra maximum energy shield by clarity, 18%, and then we have this one here with the 4% max ES, right? So we are having 22%, and this is the reason with the Ascendancy, where we have more mana reserved, we get more energy shield. This is the reason why you're gonna go Mana Guardian in that case. So you want to stack mana because it gives you a shit ton of energy shield, right? So, Grand Spectrum gives you 30 mana per Grand Spectrum, which I have 3 of, is 90 per. And you're gonna see that every time I get one of these in, my energy shield is getting higher and higher. So this one, the first one, actually gave me like 80 energy shield. The second one, since I have 2 now, gives me 250, 260, and the third one gives me now like almost 500. So the more Grand Spectrums, the better. But it's limited to 3, so you can only have 3. So these are my 3 Grand Spectrums here. Then the Watcher's Eye. This is the starter edition with the Clarity Mana mod. Goes for 9 exalts. I bought this one yesterday. And it actually gives me, like 1,500 energy shield at this point. It will be more later on when I stacked up even more mana. Okay. If you don't have that, then probably Flat Life Region, what I used for leveling, was also okay to use. So, going down here, Barbarism 1 max fire resistance makes it easier to sustain. Then I took Devotion. If you say like, hey, wait a second, your energy shield, why you need Devotion? The reason is because it also has the increased effect of non-curse arrows from your skill. I want to showcase this here if I have a regret. I have 1 regret. Okay, that's good. So, as you see, I have 85% max resistance. So, if I unskill Devotion, we're getting down to 84. So just by taking Devotion, with the 3% increased effect, we're getting up to 85. And this is what I want to have. And this is why I also used all the effect here on this cluster here per Sovereignty and on the other side of the skill tree. So, anything else to talk about here? Yeah, here we're transforming the life nodes here. So if we're gonna undo this one and we lose another 1,000 energy shield, we have here life. And here we have life and mana. And with the healthy mind that you can only have 1 by now, since they nerfed that, you're transforming every single life node in here into a mana node. So this now gives me maximum mana and for the double amount here, okay? And this one gives me 28% mana. As I said, the more mana, the more energy shield, the more damage, and so on. It's just like going non-stop in this case, right? And for the rare jewels, I have fire damage over time multiplier, increased energy shield, and burning damage. I got these one pretty cheap. They are usually about, I would say, 50 chaos per piece. I got one for 40 chaos and one for 5 chaos. I think one guy mispriced this one. But yeah. So, anything else? Ally Overload. We're gonna proc this one with the Stormbrand as well. So, when we crit, we're gonna get 40% more elemental damage. And since it's elemental damage, more Righteous Fire damage, more Scorching Ray damage. Path of Building link is in the description below. So, Bandits, I killed all, 2 additional skill points. Then for the Pantheons, this is actually quite important, not like other characters where you say like, yeah, take whatever. If you do bossing, take Solaris, and if you're mapping, you take Lunaris or something. No. Here, Arakali gives us reduced damage taken from damage over time, which is Righteous Fire, and Aberrath because reduced fire damage taken while moving, okay? So, since you're moving all the time, so our Aberrath and Arakali will reduce the damage that we get from the Righteous Fire here. Good. Next thing, Transmogs. Oh god, this is a lot. This is a lot. We have so many auras here. So, Kitaver set full Emperor weapon with the new Void Emperor character effect, Ultimate Chaos Shield. Then we have Fire Horns with the Mark of the Phoenix, the Kitaver weapon effect. Then we have the Ultimate Chaos Footprint and the Void Emperor Portal Effect. And I don't really want to go over all these empty axes here that I choose because it's just too many. But usually if you... Like, the most important is Celestial Righteous Fire and Celestial Scorching. And the rest is just like any kind of aura effect. I just have too many on this character. It's just too many auras, you know, too many prophecy, too many auras exiled. Alright, so final conclusion of this build. Is it worth? Is it not worth? I mean, it's still a Righteous Fire build. We did Uber Elder. This is the clip that I will show you after this build guide here, or at least like when we're done here. But I'm kind of disappointed. I was hoping that the changes on Righteous Fire, with reducing it to half but adding base damage plus the fire damage over time multiplier, and I literally fire damage over time multiplier, there is only those 2 small points missing. On the other hand, I took Breath of Flames, a lot of multiplier on the bottom side multiplier. I took every single multiplier with even the crafted scepter here with the fire damage over time multiplier, and even now my damage is shit, okay? And if I play Righteous Fire, I don't really want to play it with Conk Effect. We never play with Conk Effect, unless you do Uber Elder, then you can, but for mapping, you're gonna use your increased area effect, and then your damage drops even lower, which is kind of shit. So, all in all, probably if you don't have a lot of investment, then you can run it and it will feel better. But if you're actually investing into it, once you get a really high energy shield pool, you're gonna feel the nerf because it's still 20%. Your Righteous Fire damage is cut in half for adding a little bit of base damage, which is not comparable to the old state of the build. Nevertheless, I still did Uber Elder with this gear, and I already spent probably 20 exalts in my gear in total, so I don't know if I want to even take it further, because with this Righteous Fire, it's now basically a Scorching Ray caster, right? And moving around using Scorching Ray to clear off packs, and then you actually want to stack it, so I don't know. It does work, okay? It does work. I tested it, I played it. I can say I did Uber Elder with it, with this kind of gear as a Mana Guardian, or at least like a Righteous Fire Guardian. But I would probably, if you remember the old good times of Righteous Fire, then better not play it, and keep in mind that Righteous Fire was once super great. So guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you on the next video.
Putrefy, rot, spoil, and fester.
I just think it's unfair that Shaper has a bigger beam than I do. I think everybody should have like the same kind of beam. Oh, can you please phase transition? That was legit 1 millisecond before phase transition.
Gaze into the abyss.
Yum, 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 yum.
Embraced by misery.
Paper is drunk, dude.
Into the abyss.
Oh, come on. Oh, the next slam. Come on, dude. If I'm like outside the circle, dude. Should be phase transition by now.
By misery.
Here is slam, there is slam, everywhere slam, slam. We need more slams! Ah, it's slow and everything! Oh, and another slam! Dude! Die, you fuck! Oh, another slam. And more tentacles. I will survive! But I'm out of flask charges. And I'm slowed! Go! Oh, that dodge. You saw the dodge in the end? Eh. Hardcore viable build, dude. Easy clap. Just needs a bit more damage, so thanks GGG that you kinda buffed that build. I hate you, GGG. Ah, okay.